The planet Lyrana had always been peaceful. Its green valleys and silver rivers stretched for miles, and the sky glowed softly with two suns. The people who lived there, the Lyranans, were gentle and kind. They loved music, art, and quiet days. Fighting was something they barely understood. War was only a story in old legends, something that happened far away, on other planets. But now, the Kurok Legion, a warlike empire from the outer rim of the galaxy, had begun to attack. Their ships moved through space like dark shadows. They burned and destroyed every world they touched. At first, Lyrana did not think they would come. The planet was small and weak compared to the vast power of the Kurok Legion. The Lyranans hoped that the Empire would ignore them. They were wrong. The first attack came suddenly. The Kurok Legion struck the small mining colonies near the edge of the planet. Explosions shook the mountains. Fires spread across the plains. The miners tried to run, but the soldiers of the Legion were faster. They captured many Lyranans and left their homes in ruin. The news reached the capital city quickly. In the main hall of the council building, a group of Lyranans gathered. They were the leaders of the planet. Valen, a wise and gentle man, spoke first. His voice trembled slightly, though he tried to hide it. "They are coming," he said. "The Kurok Legion is coming for the city next. We cannot fight them. We do not have soldiers. We do not have weapons. We are not ready for war." A young council member named Myra spoke next. Her eyes were wide with fear. "We must ask for help," she said. "We cannot face them alone. Someone, somewhere, must hear us. Someone must come to protect us." The council was silent for a long time. Asking for help was not easy. They had no allies. Most of the galaxy ignored Lyrana. To them, the planet was small, unimportant, and easy to destroy. But Myra was right. They had no choice. Valen agreed reluctantly. He ordered the council to send a message into deep space. It would be a plea for help, a signal to any who might hear. It would say, "We are peaceful. We are weak. If we fall, our people will be destroyed. Please, help us." The message was broadcast from the tallest tower in the capital. The tower's spire reached high above the clouds. Its antennas sent the signal across the galaxy. The Lyranans watched anxiously as the stars swallowed their plea. Days passed. At first, there was no reply. The Lyranans began to lose hope. Some whispered that the universe had abandoned them. The Kurok Legion moved closer. Scout ships appeared near the planet. The skies, once bright and calm, now seemed dark and threatening. Valen tried to calm the people. He reminded them to stay indoors, to protect their families. But he could see the fear in their eyes. The children were frightened, asking if the monsters in the sky would take them too. The adults whispered to each other, afraid that the city would fall before help could arrive. Then, a signal came. It was small at first, just a flicker in the communications system. But it grew stronger. The council rushed to the control room. On the screen appeared a human officer. His name was Lucas Grant. His face was calm and steady. He was not smiling, but his eyes were kind. "I am here," he said. "Your message reached us. We are coming." The Lyranans stared at him, unable to believe their eyes. You are real?" Myra asked. Her voice trembled. "Yes," Lucas said. "We are real. And we will protect you." But even as he spoke, the council felt doubt. Humans were small compared to the Kurok Legion. Could a few humans really stand against such power? The Legion had thousands of ships. Soldiers trained to kill and destroy without mercy. And yet, something in Lucas's voice made them hope. The next day, scouts reported strange objects in the distance. Large shapes moved through the upper atmosphere, They were ships, unlike any the Lyranons had seen. They were not sleek or soft. They were strong, built for survival and for battle. Claire Morgan was the leader of the landing team. She had trained on a harsh world called Earth. There, every day was a fight for life. Humans learned to survive storms, predators, and hunger. Claire's team had survived Deathworlds, planets that would kill any weak species in hours. To humans, Lyrana seemed easy, but they knew that the Lyranons were not prepared for war. That is why they came. When Claire's ship touched down on the green fields near the capital, the Lyranons watched from the city walls. They expected monsters. Instead, humans stepped out. They were strong, but not frightening. They wore simple uniforms and carried weapons. But their eyes were calm. They looked around, studied the land, and began organizing. Valen and Myra met the humans outside the city. Claire spoke first. "We are here to help," she said simply. "We will fight with you if we must, but we will also teach you to defend yourselves." Valen looked at her closely. He had expected violence. He had expected loud threats and cruel faces. But the humans were neither cruel nor loud. They were confident. That confidence was strange to him. How can you fight them?" Valen asked. "They are many." Lucas answered. "Strength is not just in numbers. It is in courage, in cleverness, in the will to survive. Humans know how to fight when there is no other choice. We will teach you, and we will fight with you." The Lyranons did not fully understand, but they could see it in the way the humans moved. They were disciplined. They were ready. They were not afraid of death, because they had faced death before and survived. Over the next few hours, the humans began building defenses around the city. They used simple tools in clever ways. They dug trenches, set up barriers, and placed small weapons in unexpected positions. They explained each step to the council and to volunteers from the city. The Lyranons worked alongside the humans, though clumsily at first. They were not used to physical labor or war machines, but the humans were patient. Claire corrected mistakes gently, showing them better ways to work. Lucas directed the placement of defenses, telling the Lyranons where to stand and how to protect civilians. By the end of the day, the city looked different. It was still beautiful, with silver towers and green parks, but now it had protection. Small walls, barricades, and observation posts were ready for the Kurok Legion's arrival. As the sun set, the first Kurok ships appeared on the horizon. Dark, sharp, and terrifying, they moved like predators. The Lyranons panicked. Some ran to their homes. Some hid in the streets. But the humans stood their ground. "Do not fear," Claire said. "We are here. We will not let them take your home." Lucas and his team scanned the incoming ships. He made quick calculations. He could see their strategy and predicted their attacks. He spoke calmly, issuing orders that were followed instantly. The Lyranons watched in awe. They had sent a message into the stars, hoping someone would answer. And now, the most unlikely saviors had arrived. Humans, the Deathworlders of legend, had come in force. Night fell on the city. The Lyranons huddled in their homes. They listened to the humans moving outside, preparing, watching, and waiting. Fear was still there, but so was hope. For the first time in many days, they believed they might survive. And far above the city, the stars watched quietly. Somewhere across the galaxy, Lucas Grant and his team prepared for the fight to come. They did not know everything about the Kurok Legion, but they knew this. They would protect Lyrana, no matter what. The Lyranons would soon learn that humans were strange, fierce, and unstoppable. But for now, they only knew this. The call for help had been answered. And when Deathworlders answered a call, they came in force. The next morning, the sky over Lyrana was filled with the hum of human ships. They hovered above the capital and nearby villages, scanning for enemy movement. The Liranans were amazed at the speed and organization of these newcomers. Humans worked as if they had rehearsed every step for years. They moved quickly, built barricades, and carried supplies without a single complaint. Valen and Myra watched the humans from the city wall. The city was a mixture of shining towers and peaceful parks, and now it was dotted with humans carrying strange machines. Some were small and fast, others were larger and carried loud, clanking weapons. "They are different from us," Myra said softly. "So strong, and yet so calm." "They are survivors," Valen replied. "That is what makes them strong. They do not panic. They do not run from danger. They face it." Claire Morgan walked through the streets with a small team of humans. She spoke to the Liranans calmly, giving instructions on simple tasks. "Move that barricade closer to the wall," she said to a group of volunteers. "Yes. Lift it carefully. There you go. Now place the spikes in front. Good. Watch your footing." The Liranans struggled at first. They had never lifted such heavy objects or built defenses for war. Some tripped. Others dropped tools. But Claire never raised her voice. She simply guided them with patience and quiet authority. Slowly, the city began to look prepared. Lucas Grant moved in the command center above the city. From there, he could see the surrounding valleys, the river, and the approaches that the Kurok Legion might use. He studied the enemy ships that had appeared the day before. He calculated their speed, their attack patterns, and their weaknesses. "Their scouts are light and fast," he told his team. "They will try to test our defenses first. Prepare for that. Keep civilians away from the open areas. We cannot afford any mistakes." A young Liranan named Orel, a healer who had always worked quietly in hospitals, was assigned to assist the humans. He carried medical supplies and helped the volunteers who were injured while working on the barricades. At first, he was scared of the humans. They seemed too strong, too different. But he noticed something else. They cared about him and the other Liranans. They treated every person, not just themselves, as important. Hours passed. The humans moved with purpose, while the Liranans began to follow instructions more confidently. Some learned to carry supplies without dropping them. Others learned to help with barricades or prepare food for the workers. Then, the first signs of the Kurok Legion appeared. Scouts flew low across the plains, sending small laser pulses toward the city. They were testing the humans, seeing how the city would react. Claire called her team together. "Split into 3 squads," she said. "One squad will observe from the left tower, one from the riverbank, and one will stay in the streets to help the Liranans." The humans moved quickly. Valen watched as they disappeared into the shadows of the streets. Myra turned to him. "Sards, any Telso. Ansard and 17 Telso." "They are ready to fight," she whispered. "They do not fight alone," Valen said. "They fight with us." The Kurok scouts made a mistake. They believed the city was weak and that humans would hesitate. But humans do not hesitate. Even when outnumbered, they act with calm precision. Claire's squad fired warning shots, small but accurate, forcing the scouts to retreat. The Liranans gasped. They had never seen such skill. "They are amazing," said Orel. "They were Grote. They are S-Nide." Lucas was already calculating the next move. "If they send a full assault, we will need traps and obstacles. The humans can hold them, but we must slow them down. Liranans, help us. Work with them, not against them." The city responded. Volunteers carried supplies, set up simple tripwires, and helped hide civilians. Even the elderly worked, guided by humans who showed patience and respect. The Liranans were learning. Slowly, fear began to change into determination. At night, humans gathered around small fires in the city squares. Claire and Lucas spoke quietly to their teams, reviewing the plan for the coming battle. "We cannot let them take the city," Claire said. "We will hold it, no matter what. But we must also teach the Lyranans to survive. They need to know what to do if we fall. They need courage." Lucas nodded. "They will learn. They are already learning. Humans survive on worlds that would kill most species in hours. We know how to face danger." End quote. Meanwhile, Aurel watched the humans and tried to understand them. He had never seen anyone move with such confidence and purpose. He had never seen anyone face fear with calmness. Humans were strange, and yet inspiring. He felt a small hope growing in his chest. Perhaps his people could survive after all. The next morning, the Kurok Legion returned. This time, they brought more ships, larger and stronger. Their scouts were followed by attack crafts that flew low, firing pulses of energy at the city walls. The Lyranans screamed and hid, but the humans were ready. Claire called out orders. "Take cover behind the barricades. Keep your heads down. Fire only when I give the signal." The humans fired with precision. Small energy pulses hit the attackers, forcing them to maneuver away. The Kurok scouts were caught in traps set by the humans. Some fell into pits or were blocked by barricades. Even the humans were surprised at how effective the simple devices were. Lucas monitored the battle from above. "They are testing our defenses," he said. "We need to hold until the main force arrives. Keep civilians safe and do not waste shots. Every move counts." For hours, the skirmishes continued. The Lyranans watched in amazement as humans adapted to each attack. When one trap failed, they quickly set up another. When a barricade was broken, they repaired it instantly. It was not just strength or weapons. It was intelligence, planning, and courage. Aurel ran from group to group, helping injured humans and Lyranans alike. He bandaged wounds, gave water, and encouraged those who were frightened. Even he began to feel braver. The humans inspired courage in everyone around them. At one point, a young Lyranan boy, no older than 10, ran into the street to help a fallen volunteer. Claire saw him and shouted, "Get back! You will get hurt." But Aurel stepped forward and guided the boy to safety. "You can help from here," he said. "You do not need to fight to be brave." Claire nodded quietly. She understood that this was what the humans did. They protected everyone, not just themselves. They were fierce, but also compassionate. That was their strength. As the day ended, the Kurok scouts retreated. They had tested the city, but the humans had held their ground. The Lyranans cheered quietly from the walls. They had seen something new. Humans were not like other species. They did not flee. They did not panic. They survived. Lucas and Claire gathered their teams. "Good work," Claire said. "Tomorrow, the main force will arrive. We will be ready. And the Lyranans will be ready too." The humans began training the Lyranans in small groups. They taught simple ways to protect themselves, basic strategies for survival, and how to help each other. The Lyranans learned quickly. They began to understand courage, teamwork, and determination. That night, the city was quiet, but not as it had been before. Fear was still there, but it was mixed with hope. The Lyranans had seen the humans fight. They had seen them protect the weak, adapt to danger, and never give up. They were learning that they, too, could survive. Aurel looked at the stars above. Somewhere, far away, humans had answered their plea for help. And now, they were here, standing with them. He whispered softly, "Thank you, humans. Thank you for coming." The humans did not boast. They did not seek praise. They simply prepared for the battles to come. And when the Kurok Legion returned, stronger and more dangerous, they would be ready. The Lyranans were beginning to believe in something they had never imagined. That humans, the Deathworlders, could protect them. And not just protect them, they could teach them to survive. The call for help had been answered, and the humans had come in force. The day began with a pale sun rising over the city of Lyrana. Birds sang in the distant valleys, and the river sparkled in the morning light. But the peace was fragile. Scouts reported that the Kurok Legion's main force was approaching. Hundreds of ships filled the skies, casting shadows over the green fields. The city's walls shook slightly as distant explosions reminded everyone of the danger. Lucas Grant and Claire Morgan stood on the highest observation deck of the command center. They watched the incoming fleet through large viewing panels. "They have more than we expected," Lucas said quietly. "But it doesn't matter. Numbers do not decide the fight. Strategy, courage, and adaptability do." Claire nodded. "The Lyranans are ready to help. They have learned quickly. We will need them at key points, but the humans will lead the defense." Valen and Myra were nearby, nervous but trying to appear calm for the Lyranans. Valen whispered, "I do not know if they can hold them." "They will," Myra said. "They must." Lucas turned to both of them. "Listen. Humans are survivors. They do not fight because they enjoy it. They fight because they must. And they will teach your people to survive too. Watch carefully, and you will see." The first wave of the Kurok Legion struck at the riverbanks outside the city. Their ground troops disembarked from hover ships, moving with precision and violence. They were fast, cruel, and well-trained. The Lyranans screamed and ran, hiding behind walls and trees. But the humans stood firm. Claire shouted orders. "Squad A, block the left flank. Squad B, cover the right. Aurel, help the injured here." Aurel ran between groups, helping both humans and Lyranans. His hands were steady despite the explosions. He moved with a courage he did not know he had. Humans fought beside him, protecting him and showing no fear. The Kurok soldiers charged, but the humans had prepared traps. Simple pits, concealed spikes, and barricades slowed the enemy. Energy pulses from human weapons struck the attackers with deadly precision. The Kurok troops faltered, unprepared for the humans' clever methods. A young Lyranan named Talon watched from the city wall. He had been terrified of fighting before, but now he saw humans moving fearlessly, helping each other, and protecting the weak. He felt a spark of courage. He grabbed a small weapon from the humans and fired at advancing Kurok soldiers. His first shot missed, but the humans encouraged him. By the third shot, he had hit an enemy. His hands shook, but he smiled. Lucas watched the battle from the command center. He communicated with other squads, adjusting strategies in real time. Squad C, flank the left side of their main group. Use the canyon for cover. Squad D, provide suppressing fire from the rooftops. Keep civilians safe. Y. The humans moved like a single organism, each part knowing its role and reacting to changes instantly. They adapted to every attack, countering the Kurok Legion's moves with speed and intelligence. Valen whispered to Myra, "I have never seen anything like this. They are unstoppable." Myra nodded, her eyes wide. "It is not strength alone. It is courage and unity. They fight for each other and for us. That is what makes them strong." The battle continued all morning. Kurok troops pressed forward with heavy armor and advanced weapons. They expected the city to fall quickly, but humans were everywhere, appearing where the enemy least expected them. Barricades fell, but humans rebuilt them immediately. Pits slowed attackers, while hidden energy pulses struck precise targets. Aurel helped a wounded human named Samuel. Samuel had a deep cut on his arm, but he refused to stop fighting. "Go!" he shouted. Cover the Liranans. I'll be fine. Orel hesitated, but Samuel's courage inspired him. He bandaged the wound quickly and returned to the fight. Humans did not wait for perfect safety. They adapted and survived. At midday, Claire led a small squad behind enemy lines. They moved silently through the tall grass, using the terrain to hide. Their mission was to disrupt Kurok's supply lines and confuse the main force. The squad found a group of Kurok soldiers unloading weapons. Claire signaled, and the humans attacked swiftly. Energy pulses struck the soldiers before they could react. In minutes, the squad had destroyed the supplies and disappeared back into the fields. When they returned, the Liranans cheered quietly. They had never imagined such bravery. They were learning what it meant to face danger with calm and precision. Lucas coordinated the defense from above. He had anticipated the Kurok Legion's patterns and adjusted human squads in real time. Squad E, reinforce the northern barricade. Squad F, provide cover for civilians evacuating the eastern sector. Keep your focus. Every move matters. The Kurok Legion commander became frustrated. He could not understand why a smaller group of humans, with some weak aliens assisting them, could withstand his force. Every attack was met with careful resistance, clever traps, and courage. Orel helped a group of Liranon women move through the streets. One woman stumbled over debris, and he lifted her gently. "Stay calm," he said. "We will get you to safety." The humans never paused. Even when injured, they continued to fight, cover civilians, and lead the Liranans. They did not complain. They did not fear death. They acted with calm, controlled courage. By late afternoon, the first major wave of the Kurok Legion was defeated. Their soldiers retreated to regroup, leaving behind heavy losses. Humans did not cheer or boast. They quickly repaired barricades and treated the wounded. The Liranans were exhausted, but alive. Valen approached Lucas and Claire. How do you do this?" he asked. "We are weak. You are amazing." Lucas shook his head. "We are not amazing. We are survivors. Our world is harsh. Every day is a fight to live. We learn to protect ourselves, to help each other, to never give up. That is all. You can do it too. You just need to believe you can." Claire added, "Courage is not the absence of fear. It is acting even when you are afraid. Your people are learning that now. Watch them tomorrow. They will be braver than today." Orel looked at the human soldiers around him. He realized that bravery was contagious. The humans were not only defending Lirana, they were teaching it to its people. Liranans who had hidden in fear were now beginning to stand, help others, and fight. That night, the city was quiet but not peaceful. Fires burned in some areas, and the smell of smoke filled the air. Humans moved among the Liranans, checking defenses, helping the wounded, and preparing for the next attack. Talon, the young boy who had fired at the Kurok soldiers, sat next to Orel. I was scared," he said. "But the humans, they are so brave. I think I can be brave too." Orel smiled. "You were brave today. You helped protect people. That is what matters. You will learn more each day." Lucas spoke to the human teams quietly. "We held them today. But the Kurok Legion will not give up. They will come back with more forces. We must prepare for the next wave. Keep teaching the Liranans. Every skill, every lesson counts." Claire nodded. "We will be ready. We fight for them, but we also fight with them. That is the only way to survive." Claire nodded. The humans rested briefly, but their minds were always on the next move. The Liranans observed quietly, learning from every action. They saw how humans moved, how they communicated, how they adapted. They began to understand what it meant to be a survivor, not just someone who hopes for protection. Outside the city walls, the Kurok scouts observed the humans. They were surprised and frustrated. They had underestimated these small, strange beings from a distant world. Their attacks had failed, and their soldiers were retreating in disorder. Lucas watched through the observation panel. "They will regroup," he said, "but they will not expect what comes next. Humans always find a way." 2. The Liranans slept cautiously that night. For some, sleep was interrupted by memories of the battle. But the fear had changed. It was now mixed with hope. They had survived, and they had seen that humans could protect them. Aura looked at the city lights and whispered softly, "We can survive this. We must survive. The humans are with us." The humans stayed awake through the night, checking defenses, guiding volunteers, and preparing for the next attack. They did not seek reward or praise. Their duty was clear: protect the weak, fight the strong, and survive. By morning, the city had recovered. Wounded Liranans and humans were treated. Barricades were rebuilt, and new traps were placed. Even the children helped by carrying small supplies or messages. The humans encouraged them, teaching them that everyone could contribute. Lucas and Claire stood together, watching the sunrise. "Tomorrow will be harder," Lucas said, "but the Liranans are ready to fight with us now. They understand courage, teamwork, and survival. That is the key." Claire nodded. "We will face the Kurok Legion together, and we will not fail." Above the city, the stars shone quietly. The call for help had been answered. Humans had come, survived, and taught others to survive. And when the Kurok Legion returned, they would face not just humans, but an awakened Lirana. The war that should not be won had been fought and held. But the battle was only beginning.